It was not my plan to be back for Park to Prem on the 27th of June, but Blackpool have bid on Scott Williams. £200,000. I can protest it. Mark Letitia, the chairman, has accepted it. And, yeah, I guess this could be the start of a very chaotic summer. Today is a transfer special. Hopefully you guys are excited. Shall we run the intro and get into things? Yes, folks, how is it going? Welcome back to Guernsey. Today, I suppose, is technically the start of season number 3, and well, today we have the summer transfer special. I talked about it last episode. I'm pretty happy with our squad on the whole. Would like to add a little bit of depth, maybe look to cash in on one or two players. Scott Williams was one of those players, because the overall balance looks a little bit angry, and well, good news / bad news, we have a bid for Scott Williams. It's not as much as I would have liked. I know they added a squad planner to Football Manager, but I don't really use it that much. I like to do my planning on the squad screen and the tactics screen. And in terms of the plan, this is a starting 11, with obviously a spot empty, that I feel like I could play in the Southern Premier League next year. But a box-to-box midfielder, I think, is the order of the day. Last year we played a more defensive midfielder alongside an advanced playmaker to start things. Obviously this season, Vaughan has found himself in a deeper role. And I think if we are going to play again with a deep line playmaker, the opportunity is maybe there to get in a slightly more mobile centre mid. So that's an area of the pitch I'd really like to address. Elsewhere, I would like to just get a little bit more depth on the bench. Of course, Shatayo, Farquhar and Forbes are all very good striking options. Every other spot in the team, we don't really have that same level of depth. And whilst at the moment these spots are empty on the bench, if we sign new starting players, naturally the players that they replace, who are currently in this starting 11, will be those that find themselves on the bench. Now, like I already said, we're in the Southern Premier League. Our promotion, of course, secured last episode. And if we just look at the pre-season preview right now, as a newly promoted team, we are 5th, which is not a bad spot to be in as a newly promoted side in terms of pre-season odds. Worth noting that Williams, who is probably going to be leaving us, is one of the players in the Media Dream 11. Elsewhere, Kyle also features in the team. One thing I neglected to mention about Kyle, as I hyped him up for the entirety of last episode, is his contract only runs until the end of next season. And right now, he doesn't want to sign a new deal. It's not ideal. Some other transfer news, not involving players, involving our assistant manager, Matt Darby, might be on his way out of the club. Blackfield and Langley have made an offer to him as manager. I have, as a result, been lining up a new assistant manager, and if he comes in, Chris Llewellyn, I think, is a ridiculously good assistant manager for us. The former Welsh international, we're keeping it Welsh in the team, looks absolutely amazing. The kind of person who actually wouldn't have been a bad head of youth development to get in. I'll level with you. Kind of hoping Darby leaves, because Llewellyn is definitely an upgrade. Elsewhere, there is one player I'm looking to sign. That is Dale Evans. He is currently plying his trade over in the Southern Welsh division. Of course, this is the second tier. He's in their Media Dream 11. I've got a scout looking at him. I'd love to pick him up. He looks like a really good right winger. Bad news, the New Saints, one of the best teams in Wales, are also looking at him. Of course, board expectations for this season are a top half finish. This summer is very much going to be about trying to flesh out the team, as I mentioned, getting in a new star centre mid, and possibly moving on players besides Scott Williams. Now, let's talk about this Williams deal. £200,000, percentage of profit of next sale is 30%, and we can arrange a friendly. It's a really good offer, but the guide value that I actually have for him, having been promoted, is much higher than what we've accepted. And there's a queue of teams interested. Blackpool, the team who have made a bid, are in the Championship, which I suppose is a testament to how good Scott Williams is. But I think I'm going to try and protest this transfer and maybe asking for a bit more money. Can we ask for a bit more money? Worth noting, Blackpool have offered me the opportunity to loan him back for the season. So even if he leaves us, we might still have him for next year, which would be a big win for us. I'm going to reject this loan back for now, just because I'm hoping that we're going to renegotiate this contract, and there's no inbox item. Should I be nervous? Should I be scared? I hope the board are going to renegotiate it, otherwise I am going to be a very sad individual, and I feel even sadder because Blackfield and Langley have signed Matt Darby. He's joined them for £190 a week. He's taken a £10 a week wage rise, and he's left us. I'm now going to hope that Chris is going to join us. Some good news, Chris Llewellyn is joining us. It's a 2-year deal for him. If we get promoted in the next 2 years, he gets a 2-year extension for £200 a week. I think he's a bargain. Board have renegotiated the Scott Williams deal. We got a little bit more money out of it. £235,000, 30% of the profit, a friendly as well, and we can loan him back for the year. I don't really have a say in this. We have to take the money. To be honest, £235,000, I probably would have taken myself. That solves our financial problems that we're currently under. It's going to leave us with a really healthy amount of money in the bank. I'm assuming this money is all up front, but maybe it's not. In fact, no, it isn't. We can see the deal here. So it's £155,000 up front. It's then 6 month installments, 4 of them, of £20,000 to make it £80,000 total. And of course, we do get him loaned back, and there's a percentage of profit. So you know what? If Scott Williams ends up being the greatest player ever, or even if he only got sold for like £1 million, we still get £250,000 back. So I'm kind of okay with that. Don't get me wrong, never good to lose your best players, but at least in loaning him back for the year, we're not losing him immediately, gives me a bit of time to prepare, and the money for a team at this level is just, it's an absurd amount of money. We have to take it. It's a no-brainer. Assuming this deal goes through of £155,000, we are apparently going to get 100% of it. I'd be very surprised if that is the case, but as long as some of it gets put into the bank balance and we get a little bit of it to spend, maybe a little bit of it to put into the wage budget, we can position ourselves in a way where we can really, really improve the team. We've already got close to £2,000 spare on the wage budget, so there is definitely potential here to really strengthen the team with this sale. I have released 2 first-team players at the end of their contracts. Those players, Eli Phipps, who really was just a useful squad player but didn't contribute all that much. Ellis Johnson, another player I've decided to let go. He was on £60 a week as a bit of a backup, given the fact that I see us having a bit of an overhaul, at least when it comes to our depth. He is one of the few players who was on the bench frequently last year who is being paid kind of a salary, and it wasn't an insignificant amount. I think for those reasons, it kind of just makes sense to move him on. I am also looking at players like Grooms and Watters and thinking, if you're not going to be regular starters for me this year, is it worth keeping you around? Should I be trying to get you off the wages? If I could get a little bit of money, would that be wise? I think when it comes to players like Watters and Grooms, who, to be honest, wouldn't necessarily be bad options to have on the bench in this league, a lot of it's going to be determined by what players do we get in, do I still need them a little later on in the summer. Like last summer as well, worth acknowledging, I've arranged a load of pre-season friendlies against Football League teams, so we're going to get some, hopefully, good gate receipts in, and of course, it is only the 30th of June, so players are just being released. There should be a whole new pool of players for us to go and search through in terms of potential new signings, wondering if our promotion is going to maybe allow us to attract a few more players. That said, we are still quite far down the footballing pyramid. Given the fact that a load of teams have just released players, I've gone back to the season preview because obviously at the end of the year, especially at this level, teams do have a relatively high turnover in players. Without signing anyone, just through not losing anyone, apparently we're now second favourites for promotion this year, behind Truro. Of course, Truro, very, very good team. A team we played in the Cup last year and lost 1-0 to. And, well, they have a goalkeeper, or they did have a goalkeeper, who was a former player of ours. He actually appeared in my YouTube comment section. Here he is, James Hammond. Now, this man started his career at Guernsey. And like I said, he appeared in the YouTube comment section last season. You can go back to the episode where we played Truro. He was giving it large after he kept a clean sheet against me. I'm wondering if you'd want to sign for us. I won't take it personally if you're watching, James. You know what? We'll add him to the shortlist just in case. I have a sneaking suspicion, though, we're not going to be able to sign him. It was mentioned by a couple of people recently. I didn't cover the last season's youth intake. It was, by most accounts, rubbish. We did have one okay player, maybe keep an eye on him. Robbie Carter here, left back, very determined, great natural fitness. Acceleration isn't too bad. He is, though, a long, long way away from being first team ready, and already, you know, some question marks over his potential compared to our current team. Don't see him or any of the other players in our under-18s that are generated here appearing in the first team. Of course, one man who will be in the first team this year, who probably shouldn't make available for the under-18s anymore, is of course Zach Atkinson. This man already played for 2 teams when I signed him. It was an error, it was a mistake, but he's ready to play for us for this new season. Talked about it last summer, but I feel like Southampton, Portsmouth and other teams on the south coast we might be able to use to get in some good players. So first thing I'm going to do this pre-season is get a load of trialists in. As you can see here, we've got all these players who were released by Southampton Southampton in on trial. Gives me a chance to evaluate them. Some of them look pretty good on the face of things. And on top of that, it gives us a few extra bodies that we don't have to pay any money to that can actually play in all these pre-season friendlies. You might have noticed by the schedule, there's quite a lot booked in. So I've offered out some trials, players from Bristol City, Bristol Rovers, Portsmouth, Southampton, Exeter, Plymouth. There's probably a few more South Coast teams I'm not thinking of that are within our range. Unfortunately, players who trained for Brighton think that we're too far away to move to. Otherwise, I would have done Brighton as well. Totally forgot about this. Football Manager added a limit of 30 players on trial at once. So all these players here, we might come back to. Probably missed out on some potential gems. I guess I could just scout them, but that costs money. We don't have money around here. At least not until Scott Williams leaves. Right, I'm going through these one at a time, mashing up and hitting accept. We're going to have 30 trialists on for the next 4 weeks. I'll probably release the ones that don't look so good and then try and get in the people who we haven't been able to pick up already. A few of them do also have faces. That's a positive sign, although Cameron Cox has rejected a trial offer. Try not to take that personally. It's a mixed bag with the trialist. There's lots that are pretty rubbish towards the bottom, but there are actually a few that are rated very highly. Will Merry here, he actually looks kind of good. He was playing for Southampton previously. We've got Reggie Evans, fantastic name. He's actually a really good centre-back with some good mentals, but is inconsistent and injury-prone. He was also at Southampton. Joe Andrews, also at Southampton. I think the Southampton players were the good ones, actually, looking at it. Tyler Edmondson, he was previously at Southampton as well. And let me guess, Isaac Bailey, were you also at Southampton? He was also at Southampton. There's a trend emerging here. It's nothing personal to the guys at the bottom, but I am going to terminate their trials because they are taking up valuable slots and, frankly, they're not very good. Don't want to alarm anyone. Dylan Crowe wants a new contract. Forbes, can you just have a chat with him and solve this problem? No, he can't. Dylan Crowe's already one of the top earners. Hey, what's up? I just wanted to have a quick chat, mate. I feel like I deserve a better contract. We can't afford it. Just lie. Can't afford it. He's okay with that. Right now, our vice-captain, Dylan Crowe, is on £120 a week. Obviously, when we signed him, that made him joint top earner. The wages have scaled up a little bit as of late, but what I will say is, I don't feel like he's worth that much more than what he's currently on, at least with the contracts we have right now. It's a sad day for a couple of reasons, the 4th of July. It's not the day of independence, it's the day that Dale Evans turned me down to go to TNS. I really like the look of this guy. I feel like he would have been a great addition out on the right wing, would have given Livingston some competition and probably ousted him from the first team. But, well, we don't have to worry about how we were going to keep Kai happy because he's turned us down. And on top of that, to make a sad day even sadder, Scott Williams has left the building. He has gone to Blackpool. We are loaning him back for the end of the year. £235,000 though. We couldn't turn that down. We get a big percentage of profit sell on as well, which will almost certainly help us down the line, assuming he can fulfill his potential with them. Of course, ordinarily when you lose your star player, you then have to replace them. We don't have to worry about that, at least now. Probably something to worry about next summer, or at least when it becomes evident that Scott Williams isn't going to come back on loan to us. I'm hoping he will. The fans love him. I love him. Does he love me? He does. Look, favourite personnel. Scott, you're going to be here for a few more years, I hope. So the wage budget hasn't been moved up as a result of the sale, but the transfer budget has. £157,000 suddenly in the transfer budget. Naturally, not going to spend that money because it's not money we necessarily have in the balance, but I am going to rejig things slightly. I don't know if I necessarily want to spend all of that because I think financially it probably isn't the wisest thing to do with the club's current financial predicament and, well, the rate that we were losing money last year. With promotion, there's going to be a little bit more money coming in, maybe a few more fans turning up, but I don't want to go too crazy. At the same time, we have £4,000 to spend in wage budget. Probably should get along with spending that. If you were wondering, by the way, who won our league playoff last year, it was Moneyfields, the team that we took on it in a live commentary. We went and found their ground. Good news, they have got back-to-back promotions. So from the 9th tier to the 7th tier in 2 years. That is mad impressive by them. Give Moneyfields some credit. For Zach Lee, he's had the realisation that he's probably never going to be good enough to play for us. He's not wrong in that assumption. Are you okay, mate? I think my time with the club has come to an end. I think it probably has. I could lie to him here, but he's been a loyal servant to the club through thick and thin. He's been here for the long haul, but after last year where he only played 15 games, with the additions we've made in the attacking positions, he's not going to play. So, you know what? I think the right thing to do is let him go. I do feel a little bit sad just looking at this now. A legend gone. We'll use the term legend loosely. He scored a few goals for us. It has just dawned on me. I've promised training facility improvements and suddenly we have some money in the bank. Can I request the improvements? I can't. I guess that's because I did it recently. I want it to be known for the players that want the training facilities improved. I also want them improved, but it was rejected not that long ago, sadly. Got a couple of players in on trial who I think could be very good. The first is Tejera here, who is a centre mid. Lacks a little bit in the physical department, but was playing for Bognor Regis, was released by West Brom, as you can see, a few years ago now. Last year, played 39 games in the Vanarama National League South. Of course, we've signed players from Bognor Regis before. He is available as a free agent. He doesn't look too bad. Can play anywhere down the middle, which of course is really nice for versatility. The other man I'm looking at is Alex Iwumene. This man is a Polish international, was at Southampton, was one of their youngsters released. 19 years old, capped for the under-20s of Poland, currently on international duty. The kind of player that I think could be that mobile centre mid option we're looking for. I've talked him up a load here. I'm going to make a promise that I might not be able to keep and see how much he wants. He wants £500. Now, right now, our highest earner is on £160 to provide a little bit of context, but the wage budget has more than doubled this year, so maybe my expected spend for star players should be doubling. That said, that is a very, very steep fee. If he asked for $350, I probably would have taken him up on it. There's a temptation with all this money that we've got to spend the big bucks and just sign the best players we can, but I do feel like we have to think a bit longer term about the finances, given the fact that, you know, we are in a position where we are predicted to do well with our current team. Do I want to massively overhaul things? Is it in my interest to go out there and spend, like, an absurd amount of money? Of course, it's not just the £500 we're giving him, it's the fact that all the players currently contracted at the club are going to look around the dressing room and use his wage as kind of a baseline to negotiate to. So suddenly, all the other star players are going to want similar sums of money. I mean, we've got him on trial for 4 weeks. He's currently on international duty. I don't have to make a decision right now. I just think £500 is too much. It's easy to look at the wage budget and look at the transfer budget and think, well, we've got money to spend, we might as well spend it. But we have to be realistic. Over the last 2 years, we have lost significant sums of money year on year. And as we go through the leagues, the wage spend is going to go up. I don't want to increase it at a rate that we can't sustain. I don't want to be a team where every year we're having to sell someone like Williams just to stay afloat. Not only because I don't really want to lose my best players, but also because it's difficult to build a team when you're constantly losing your best players as well. Okay, interesting with Tejera, wants £775 a week as an appearance fee, doesn't actually want to be paid a salary. What if we made it £200 and an appearance fee of £200? I mean, that is still a lot of money compared to last year at least. 2-year deal? If he just says, no way, Jose, to this, I don't think we're ever going to align on an agreement, unless, of course, he stays a free agent for a while and his demands get lowered. He has actually accepted that. £200 plus 200. The thing is, he's good. And I think the star rating maybe sells him a little bit short, but I don't know if he's that good. You compare him to Vaughan, I'd say he's maybe slightly got the edge on overall ability, but there's not a massive amount in it. Of course, Vaughan on £140 a week. I mean, it's the kind of deal where we're not nuking the wage budget in the same way we would be spending £500 a week on a player. I mean, what it does make me think is there are going to be players out there that we can sign if we keep hunting. I think the search goes on. I don't think either of the players I've just shown there are exactly what we're looking for. Don't normally draw attention to pre-season, but it'd be rude not to in this case. We've just been beaten 9-4 by Oxford. You're not reading things incorrectly. 9-4. It's weird, actually. I think this season has been a harder pre-season. I feel like the bar of player that I want to get in terms of quality has been raised with us being promoted. And I'm a little bit hesitant about spending all our money too soon. I've also just noticed here, Scott Williams is now valued at £425 to £1.3 million. I've sold him for 200k. Have we been fleeced? Don't answer that question. I know the answer. At least we have that sell-on. Can we sell the sell-on clause? We can't. But 30% of profits. Look forward to that. I don't want to alarm anyone. I might have found the centre mid I've been looking for. Charlie Osborne, 18 years old, doesn't have a face. We'll find one on Google. It's fine. He was released by Bournemouth. I knew I was forgetting some teams on the South Coast. So yeah, he's homegrown with them. That's how we kind of found him through player searches. He looks very, very good as a centre mid, box-to-box midfielder, very, very consistent across the board, kind of a jack of all trades, master of, well, aggression. He's a very angry man, but very consistent performer, great natural fitness, has potential apparently to be a League One player. Looks great, Really reasonable price. Doesn't want a long deal. I need him to sign the long deal. He really wants £250. How about £220? He really wants to... Oh, you're killing me. You're killing me, Charlie. Charlie bit me, but we've got a contract negotiated, so it's fine. £230. It has also just occurred to me, we're on the 11th of July. We've been here for about 2 weeks for this episode so far. Not actually asked the director of football, or, of course, since we don't have one, our assistant manager, Chris, for any transfer suggestions. Chris, do you know any centre mids? He knows some centre mids. Chris, do you know any strikers? I mean, I might just get Chris to solve all my problems in life. What about free agent strikers? Oh, my word. We're getting suggestion central. Give me more. Okay, maybe I should look through these. Interesting to note that one of the strikers that's been suggested is Johnny Stuttle. He is another youth prospect of Bournemouth who was released. He has potential maybe to be a Sky Bet League 2 player. He wants an appearance fee of £190. This is a no-brainer. This is going to be a really cheap deal for us. He'd be a great fourth-choice striker to have behind the kind of usual suspects that we have. Just a case of getting a deal negotiated. £40 a week, £150 per an appearance. Yeah, he's inconsistent. In fact, he's got one long shots as a striker, but if a chance falls to him in the box with 14 finishing and some good heading, he's probably going to take it. Having gone through all the other suggestions, suitably underwhelmed. With the Osborne offer tabled, I'm actually going to cancel the offer I've given to Tejera. I think £200 a week is just too much, especially because I'm not sure he's that good of a long-term option. I compare him to Osborne, who's a few years younger. Charlie feels like the no-brainer, so sorry Tejera, I'm going to cancel it. No, my luck, we'll be back offering him a contract in 2.5 weeks, but until then, goodbye. I'd really like to pick up a player who can play left back and right back. I think it's just a super valuable thing to have, especially for versatility on the bench. Cameron Cox is an interesting player, formerly at Bognor Regis. Love Bognor Regis. We've stolen a lot of players over the years from them. Unfortunately, apparently, we don't have the financial muscle. You know what? I offered him a trial earlier. I'll offer him another trial and hope that he changes his mind. Not so good news when it comes to Osborne as well. Just a day after I submitted an offer, Dorking, Gloucester, Slough, St Albans have all now offered him contracts as well. I kind of want to increase the amount that we pay him, but I'm already conscious of the fact I'm already offering to pay him £230. Would I go as high as 300? You know what? 300 and £5,000 signing on bonus. Now, the only reason I am doing this is because I need a centre mid back badly. I really like the look of him. He's consistent. We talked about that potential already. If he really does have League One potential, it just feels sensible to offer free transfer. It feels like it'd be worth it long term. Also just realised Stuttle, who I hyped up a load, has a lot of offers on the table as well. Maybe I should have offered him a little bit more than what I did before. You know what? Fourth choice striker, £60 a week, and I'll slap the appearance fee up a little bit as well. Maybe then he'll come to us. I really want to get the two former Bournemouth players. I think they'd be great additions. Cameron Cox has turned down my trial. Won't take it personally. We'll see if he's interested later, I guess, unless there's another option out there that can play both sides. But it's a bit like searching for a needle in a haystack. Reece Glendinning here is 29 years old and can play both sides. He was previously playing for Carrick in the second tier of Northern Ireland. He doesn't look too bad. I mean, he's lacking a lot in the technicals, but he's got okay mentals, some pace, and in terms of his versatility, for an option on the bench, I have seen worse. I am conscious of the fact that the season starts in less than a month, and, well, at the moment, we still have only signed Scott Williams on loan. Of course, Scott Williams, the player that we sold, so does he even count as a transfer? I'm not sure. Now, Will Merry, of course, a player I bigged up a little bit earlier. He's in on trial right now, and he's been impressing, so much so that I'm going to try and offer him a contract. He wants £350. I don't want to give him too big a wage rise as if I can avoid it. He wants a 2-year deal. I want him to sign a 3-year deal. He wants £350. I want to give him £300. How about we meet in the middle? I'll give you the length of contract you want, but I'm only paying you £300. Okay, he's agreed to that. I do wonder if this season, instead of playing with the wingers on attack, if necessary, we could end up playing with kind of wingers on support. Of course, in the case of Atkinson, he is still learning the art of playing left mid, but he can play left attacking mid. So maybe to start the year, we do try something a little bit more experimentational. I've just realised as well, I've got to decide on a pitch size sometime kind of soon. Would I go for the big pitch again or not? The idea of signing Scott Gamble as a backup centre-back is also over, unfortunately. The fact that I can't loan him from a team in the league above us kind of doesn't bode well for my prospects of relying on any kind of loans this year. Possibly the most important news inbox item that's going to arrive today has appeared. I do actually now have to pick my pitch size. Now, our current size is the maximum allowed, and to be honest, I think the long pitch hindered us more than it helped us, but I do wonder with our 4-4-2 if a wider pitch that's shorter might be the way to go. I feel like with our 4-4-2, we don't have defensive midfielders or attacking midfielders that play within the lines. A shorter pitch is going to mean that we're a bit more compact when we don't have the ball. And I think the width, if we can get a wide pitch, which looking at things we can, that'll suit our system with our wingers and wing-backs on the overlap really, really well. I am going to go with the wide setup. 105 metres wide, 85 metres wide, 105 metres long. Compared to last year, where it was 120 metres long, it is going to be a bit shorter this year. It was too big, wasn't it? Let's all be realistic with ourselves for a second. It was far too large. We need to shrink it down. I have offered another contract to a player in on trial. Remy Rees-Dottin, formerly of Bournemouth, was released from their team. Another player who allegedly has a League One potential, which gets me excited. What has me a lot less excited is the fact he's got a lot of offers for him. And when I look through this list of teams, I can hold up my hands and admit it, we are not the most sexy of options. One player who I'm more confident of signing is Ollie Eagle. He is a player who, again, was released by Bournemouth. He is a centre-back who can play centre mid or centre defensive mid. He's a well-rounded player, good for our current division. He wants to sign for, I think it was £30 a week. If we get that deal done, he will be a really good depth option. I think he will also be our third best centre-back. So a little bit of depth there is nice. Right on cue, Ollie's agreed to sign for us. £30 a week. Has got a bit of an appearance fee, but as a fringe player, he won't be playing too much. It's a 2-year deal. And first proper signing. Not an exciting first-team signing, but a signing nevertheless. Another man who's agreed to join us is Stuttle. I think this is a great signing. £60 a week? Yeah, he only has one long shot. But as a fourth-choice striker with League Two potential, I think he's going to be a useful player for us. Apparently Forbes is getting concerned about the arrival of Stuttle. How does Forbes compare to Stuttle? I didn't think Stuttle was as good as him. When you compare the two, you can kind of see why Forbes might be a little bit worried. Also, Forbes is in the last year of his contract. He's the current captain. I was going to offer him a new contract, but he's unhappy. I think I'm going to try going back in for Tejera. Of course, cancelled the deal on him once already after delaying it. I want to try and sign him as a fringy player. He wants a £600 appearance fee. Previously, we negotiated, I think it was £200 in wages and £200 in appearance fees. That is too much. But if we could do like £100 in wages and £150 in appearance fees, I'd feel better about that. He doesn't feel better about it. We'll try again. What about Tejera? £120 and £150 appearance fee. Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't. That was way more simpler than I was expecting. If we can sign him for that, that is a lot easier to tolerate than the £200 he agreed to a few weeks ago. I think for that price, we'd have to sign him, right? Probably worth storing in my brain there. He wanted £600 in appearance fees and no wage, and we were able to get him for way less by offering him a part-time deal. Maybe there's a few players I've looked at that I kind of disregarded and didn't think were possible signings that are actually possible signings if we table them part-time deals. That is something worth remembering. Some other news, Cameron Cox, the right-back and left-back player, has said that he's now interested in talking to us and he wants to be a fringe player. He's asking for £550 a week. I'm going to take our previous knowledge here. I'm going to lock in a part-time contract. We'll offer him a 2-year deal. I mean, he's going to be the backup player for us, I think, in the full-back areas. And, I probably could have got him a little bit cheaper, but to be honest, £100 for a player who can play left-back and right-back at this level is not too bad. As you can see here, played a lot of his career at Cardiff City before playing, actually, a few seasons in League Two. So a player who's played at a reasonable level. I'm feeling optimistic about him. Hopefully he wants to join us. And when I say hopefully he wants to join us, I say that in the sense that hopefully no one else comes in and tries to steal him. Because Charlie Osborne, I've still not heard back from. All those big teams are still interested. You might have spotted it here. I've offered him another £50 a week. I really want Charlie Osborne. I think as soon as you see a player with League One potential, your eyes light up, especially when it's a position you need. I really hope he joins us, or otherwise it is going to be sad. Margate have made an offer for Tejera. Margate play in the Isthmian League, which is the same tier as us, but it's a different league, kind of at the same level. Also, Quantza I have on my shortlist. I was hoping he might become available, but Wrexham have now made an offer for him. Obviously, if you watch Park to Prem, you know who this man is. If you've never watched the channel before, you're probably going, who the hell is this guy? If you know, you know. If you don't, go back, watch the last series. But at least for now, the dream of signing Quantza might not be realised this season. You know what? Margate have made that offer for him. I'm going to be generous. I'm going to offer him £150 a week. I like the idea of signing Tejera, and I'd rather offer too much than wonder what if. Elsewhere, Charlie Osborne has agreed to sign us, and he thinks that the chance of getting more playing time is a reason to do so. I'm offering this man £350 a week. That is a lot of money, and I've just noticed it's now updated to saying he has League 2 potential. But he's consistent. He's got good natural fitness. I think I have to sign him. 3-year deal as well. You know what? I have to sign him. Get him in the van. Welcome to the club, Charlie Osborne. World-class centre mid for our level. Literally not world-class. But no, really good signing. Very, very excited to get him in. There was a lot of big teams interested. Interesting to note that the line it gave us there was he wanted to play first-team football. And, well, first-team football he shall play because he will be coming in, I think, in that box-to-box midfielder position for Flanagan. Was never wowed by Flanagan last year, and what Charlie Osborne lacks in vision and aerial ability, he more than makes up for in his physicals, especially with us pivoting to a box-to-box midfielder role. That natural fitness, some really good work rate, good stamina for this level. It's all going to serve him well. He is going to be a top addition, I think. Signings are like buses. You wait for one and then a load come along at once. Will Merry is also about to join us here. He's looked pretty good in pre-season. Very quick player, super consistent as well. Yeah, I think we're going to just sign another one. Even if we don't get Rhys Dott in, I look at Will Merry and compare him to Kai Livingston. He is a far more complete player. The good thing here is we're making some signings. Slightly less good thing is they are eating more wage budget than I really wanted to spend. What I will say is their values look rather nice, at least in the case of Will Merry. Worth noting with Will Merry, he has got a non-promotion release clause of £18,000. We probably need to get promoted this year, otherwise I have no doubt we will just lose this man. So we have unfortunately missed out on Rhys Dott, and he's gone to Weymouth. I mean, we took one of their best players last year, so maybe they deserve to get one over on us. When we compare him with Will Merry, though, I think we got the better of the two players that were available for that kind of right winger spot. And elsewhere, Cameron Cox, the left back and right back player, has agreed to sign for us £100 a week. Relatively cheap. Last year probably would have been a starting player's salary. This year, more than happy to play that for a player who will mostly, I suppose, be a rotation option, someone we bring in during cup games. Also nice just to have someone on the bench who can just play anywhere, pretty much. Iwumene is possible to negotiate with again. I'm going to try and remove everything and hope he doesn't ask for training facilities. This man was also asking for a lot of money before. He's still asking for a lot of money. It's £575. That is a big jump from the 350, kind of 300 range that a few of the new players have come in for. I'm going to try and negotiate down. He now wants £325 appearance fee and £850 if he scores. Oh no, if he plays 20 games. No, that's not happening. This is making me optimistic for the start of the new season. Prediction here for the top goal scorer by The Athletic. According to them, of the top 6 most likely top goal scorers in the league, 3 of them play for us. Kyle is there, Shatayo, and also Forbes. Kind of weird seeing that, considering the fact that there's a world in which Merry ends up playing at striker, and obviously I only play with 2 strikers, so if one of them is going to get top goal scorer, it's going to come down to more than likely which one locks down a regular first team spot the most. Tejera has agreed to join us as a fringe player, and yeah, going to confirm this one. Really good option. Again, another great addition to the team. That is more depth being added, and the team's starting to take shape. According to Who Scored, top player odds, Will Merry is right up there. I guess Will Merry is just rated really, really highly. I'm suddenly feeling kind of vindicated in my decision. I think vindicated is the word I'm looking for paying £300 a week for him. I think he could be a great player, certainly the kind of player for whom it's worth changing our shape and system for. Already covered a few of these inbox items. We'll cover them all because they're really making me more excited for the team this year. Will Merry, Charlie Osborne, both in the running for top young player this year. I am wondering, actually, since we've done all these signings, where we might be now in the season preview. And actually, looking at it, we're predicted to finish ahead of Truro all of a sudden. The Media Dream 11 is almost entirely ourselves and Truro. Williams is in there, that is not too surprising. Osborne in at centre mid, Merry and Farquhar also in the team in the final third. Just noticed they've got a goalkeeper out of contract here. Could I sign this guy? Adil Mohammed. He is a goalkeeper. Is he interested in talking to us? £8,000 compensation. He's not got a work permit. He's out of contract. Can I just make an offer of nothing? I can. If they accept that, presumably even if I walk away now, we can then talk to him. We can't then talk to him. He definitely would be an upgrade on Mackenzie Lyle, and he is available as a free agent. It's weird. It says he hasn't got a work permit, but when I went to offer him a contract, it didn't say anything about the fact that a work permit might be an issue. Apparently he's got English nationality, but he's not taken up because he sees no benefit. I mean, surely getting a work permit would be a benefit to taking up English nationality. I'm not a guy who knows that much about visas. Maybe I'm an idiot, but Mohammed, if I was your friend, maybe get an English passport so you can actually play football for Dorchester, or me, if you want to come back and talk to us, or me next year, either or, probably in your interest. I'm going to offer him a trial and see if he'll come in on trial, but I guess Dorchester will just reject this. Or maybe they'll be reasonable, who knows? They are not reasonable. I was just looking at some of the goalkeeper free agents. Jack Bycroft here has caught my eye. He was at Southampton. A couple of years ago, he was on loan at Taunton Town. Now, Taunton Town, in real life, are in the Vanarama National South. They've just been promoted to it. In this save game, they've had back-to-back relegations. They've just been relegated from the league that we've gone into, so that's kind of crazy. As a result of that, they're obviously in a bit of a pickle. I did look at some of their players, but they didn't really have anyone. I know that Zealand is managing them over on Twitch, so for the Peacock fans out there, they're now a league below us. We've missed them, which is a bit of a shame. Of course, if they get promoted and we don't, we'll probably see them next year. Anyway, I digress. Jack Bycroft was part of their team a couple of years ago. Last year was at Southampton. He was released by them at the end of his contract. He wants to be a star player. He wants the training facilities improved, because of course he does. And he wants £600 a week. Why ask for this much money? Why do this to me, Jack? You'd think there'd be a Jack Alliance or something. Me and him, we'd have this understanding. But no, he's been completely unreasonable. I will, though, just offer him a trial for 4 weeks and see if he wants to join us for that. I guess there is just really no such thing as the Jack Alliance. I won't take it personally. Breaking news. Not lost every game of pre-season. Take that, Exeter. I've acquired too much money during this pre-season because I'm about to do something nutty. I'm upgrading my scouting package to the whole of Europe for 1 month. Please remind me in the comment section to turn this back down. Otherwise, the club is very quickly going to run out of money. But for £20,000 a month, I've gone mad with power. I mean, maybe we can find our first French player. And in fact, looking at goalkeepers, there is actually a French player here. I suppose we should also add the most useful feature that everyone should know about in the game. Under the transfers option in filters, there's work permit chance and then work permit likely. You can also have work permit exempt or not applicable if they just don't need a work permit. Best filter in the game. Can sometimes help you find players that you might not have realised would get work permits. There's a couple of players who I'm seeing here who apparently might get work permits. The first is Cifuentes. He's a left winger who can play on the right and is natural at striker. I will say on paper, he is actually better than Watters. You know what? I'm going to make an offer. How much could he really be wanting? He wants £700. Never mind. Somewhat amusingly, the vast majority of the players that are showing up on this list actually already play in England. The only other foreign player who might get a work permit is this guy, Noah Librent Mabulu. I've almost certainly said that wrong. This Frenchman was released by Rennes. He actually looks quite good. Does he want to come on trial? I feel like we are a little island off the coast of France. It's not that far for him to travel. His name's Noah. He's got like an arc he can travel on. He can get the ferry every day from France. He doesn't need to move to England for it. He's rejected me. If I offer him a contract, will he even want to chat? Okay, he does actually want to chat. He wants £475. I'll offer him £300 because he's French and it's exotic, but I can't pay him more than that. Also, he wants a non-promotion release clause of 54k. That's actually not that bad compared to the Will Ferry one, I realise. I really don't need another striker, but I kind of want to sign a French player because French. So at the moment, in striking positions, we've got Will Merry, Forbes, Shatayo, Stuttle, and also Kyle. I don't need another striker, but I kind of want him. When you compare him with Kyle, Kyle's leaving potentially at the end of the year, doesn't want to sign a new contract. Noah Lebret Mabulu, that we need a nickname, he's here for the long haul, aka 2 years. I'm going to be cheeky. He's very unhappy. Look, I'll give you 5k. I'm being generous here. 5k signing on fee, but I need a 3-year deal. I feel like he's going to hate the 3-year deal that I've tried to sneak in at the end. This is it. Deal or no deal. Will he take it? He has actually taken it. I really wish he hadn't. I really wish he hadn't accepted that. If he doesn't get a work permit now, it's going to be awkward. Given the fact that the scouting range produced 3 results, I have opted to downgrade it to UK and Ireland. I probably should just put it down to England, really. We drew against Exeter, now drawn against Bristol Rovers as well. Maybe we're starting to be big time. And Stuttle, who is currently not even on the bench in my team, he grabbed both the goals in this one. Before I sign Noah and get him on the arc, I am actually going to send a scout to go look at him. It's going to cost us £475 to send a scout to look at him for a week. I want to know what his hiddens are. For the amount of money I'm offering him, for the amount of grief he could cause as another striking option in our team, probably in my interest just to make sure he is actually good. I mean, he has played in Ligue 1, so the fact he wants to play in the 7th tier of England all these years later, by which I mean, 2 years later, is kind of remarkable in itself. I kind of just want to sign him for kind of the big name factor. I say big name factor. Never heard of him before 10 minutes ago, but it's a big, sexy signing for a team like ours. Have got one player leaving us. Lucas Davidson, brought in last year as a bit of depth. Hasn't really ever offered us anything. Can't play right attacking mid. I think at least to start the year, we are playing with attacking mids. And, his contract was running out. He was going to run it down anyway. We get £30 a week off the Bucks. Okay, Lebret Mabulu, he's agreed to join us. We've got to wait on a work permit. We're paying £20,000 for the work permit. I've probably got to sign him now, even if he's bad. All this money we're saving in pre-season and have been earning, and I'm spending £20,000 of it on a work permit for a player in a position I don't really need, having already upgraded the scouting package to find him. I hope he's good. First game of the season is 2 days away. Not got the work permit results back. I think we get it just before the match, so that's going to be a cliffhanger to end today on. I suppose, no, we'll get the work permit, then I'll leave the yay or nay of signing him. Assuming he gets the work permit. I mean, if that doesn't happen, that is worst case scenario. Still would like to get a goalkeeper, but besides that, I think this team is ready to start the season, with the exception of Nolan, who's suspended. Vaughan also still coming back from his broken foot, still a few weeks away from being fit. So probably a good job we did pick up Tejera. He is more than likely going to be starting alongside Osborne to start next episode. Have made another depth signing. Reggie Evans, one of the players we trialled right at the start of pre-season, has agreed to join us. It's as a squad player, £70 a week. That is not a small amount of money. He is a little bit of a gamble because he is inconsistent and injury prone, but he's a really good centre-back option, and I don't want to say it too loudly, he might provide a little bit of competition with Pasal in the team. Maybe even he'll be the player who replaces Williams if he leaves at the end of the year and we can't extend the loan. Noah Lebret Mabulu, he's been given a work permit. I think I actually have to sign him. It's not a small amount of money in terms of wages. I've also paid £20,000 just to be able to see him, and another £20,000 to get him a work permit. Scout's still not come back with any info on him. I am going to delay this for today. I say today, the match starts in literally 3 hours. We're on our way driving down to Plymouth. We're on the ferry to Plymouth, and I've just got the phone call saying it's been granted. We'll hold fire on it for now, although we could have got him on a speedboat. Let me know in the comments. Am I really about to sign this man, Noah Lebret Mabulu? It's a great name. He's a French player. It's our third. We could have a load of French players by the end of this because we're so close to the French coast. I think I have actually got to sign him. Let me know what you think. Today's pre-season has been chaotic. That is the word I'd use to describe it. We didn't have any real transfers going on for ages. I went a bit crazy with the money I started offering players, but ultimately, I think we did actually add some really good quality to the team. Even if it did break the bank slightly, I think the signings of Will Merry and Charlie Osborne are great. The star ratings maybe don't reflect that massively. I think the really important thing to remember here is that kind of a 4-star player in our team is a Vanarama National North or South player. That is a player who could play in the league above us. And at least when you look at the vast majority of players in our starting 11, well, they're not all 4-star, but they're not a million miles away from that. So I'm cautiously optimistic for this season. Kind of wish I hadn't bought a French striker I don't need and paid £20,000 for a work permit, though. I would absolutely love to know your thoughts on today's episode. It feels like a lifetime ago since I was selling Scott Williams and then getting him back in on loan. This is the kind of loan that I hope that we can just continue to extend. If you did enjoy today's episode, do drop a like on it. Let me know that you want to see more of these longer videos, these transfer specials that do take a lot more time to produce. Besides that, have a lovely rest of your day. I will see you guys tomorrow for more Park to Prem action. And until then, Season 3 awaits. It's me, Jack, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.